On behalf of Selena and G, I would like to welcome you all present to our ceremony this morning.
12 years ago, I was a successful software engineer working for a high-tech company. I had a lot going on in life.
But I guarantee you, if you enlist in the Lord's army, if you get to know Christ, you will never regret that decision, as I have never regretted my decision to serve the Lord.
The story of Isaac and Rebecca has some stark similarities between the experience G and Selena have had, and I would like to reflect upon some of those this morning. First of all, there was a father, and his name was Abraham. At an old age, he has a son. He was 100 years old, and Johnny, you're not 100, but he has a son that's 100 years old. And by the time Isaac has reached the age of 40, Abraham has one last task to perform before he passes away. He has to find a bride for his son. Well, in verse 7, it continues. It records Abraham's words of saying, "The Lord will send his angel before you, and you will take a wife for my son from there." So the servant had this blessing that God will be with him in his quest. So there is a promise that if we commit an important decision to the will of God, that He shall direct your path, and it's found in Proverbs 3, verse 5 to 6. And I want to put it to you this morning that same promise will continue as you build your lives together. But there was a condition. You see, when G went searching for his life partner, the woman would need to leave their home country and be united to him in his country too. G had to find a person that would follow him back to the US while finishing his theology studies. Well, in verse 10 it goes on. The servant goes to Mesopotamia, a city of Nahor where Abraham lived before. Now the servant, which I'm going to call the website this morning, went all the way to the land of Australia and to a town called Sale to find the right wife. We have the parents of Rebecca reacting to this proposal. They comment that this thing comes from the Lord. We cannot speak to you either bad or good. So Rebecca is traveling with a servant on camelback, and as she has a first glimpse of Isaac in the distance, what does she do? She covers her face, being a form of custom before marriage. Selena had to travel by aeroplane to New Zealand to meet G face to face for the first time. And we all held our breath to see what would happen. Here we are today.
Okay, so this is a story all about how their life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how G and Selena began their love affair. Everybody clap! In Australia, Selena was born and raised. In New Zealand is where she spent most of his days. Chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool. They both thought they would join an online dating pool. When a couple of swipes, they saw a pic that was good. Started chatting on the online dating tool. After talking with God and a couple of prayers, she said, "You're moving with me to America and we're getting married." I'm sorry, I don't have my backup dancers today. They pulled up to the airport where they finally met. An instant connection they would never forget. They looked at each other, they were finally there. And here they are today, Mr. and Mrs. Young. Everybody put your hands together for Mr. and Mrs. Young!